Welcome to Illustrator Jones once again. A very different episode this week. I have been asked by HELLDIVERS, one of my subscribers to this channel, to draw in my style a picture from HELLDIVERS 2, a game with monsters, aliens and robots. So what's not to like? So, not knowing really what everything looked like, I've made some preliminary sketches. There we go. These are the monsters. Well, this is basically one of the monsters, and that one there. And then there's the robots. I did a very basic picture of that, and then a little bit more detailed one of the robot, and some of the HELLDIVERS themselves, the actual people who are protecting planet Earth from the attack from these creatures. And I did some of the aliens as well, which to me it looks like a bad guy from Scooby-Doo when I've drawn it. Then again, I don't mind that at all. I love Scooby-Doo. Yeah, and there's these huge robots and these big, like, drone alien kind of things. So I'm going to make this into some sort of poster. So if I can show you this on the camera, can you see that? There's a little poster there that's something like that I'm going to do. You can't really see it. And I did some... Where's my sketchbook gone? What did I do with that? Excuse me one moment. Yeah, I did some these sketches in my sketchbook. If you can see that, one of the HELLDIVERS with a flag and doing a heroic pose, and then a couple of others in like battle mode against all these antagonists. So that's what I'm going to do. Now, I did these last night, sitting there watching the telly, and what I might do is just scan these in, print them out, and then use the light box to ink them up, so because it's an easier way of doing it. So yeah, I have got one more to draw of those, so I might show you that and see how it goes from there. So here we go, as they say in the movie. Oh, at last he stopped talking. I thought he was never going to end. Doesn't he go on? No, I just wanted to show you how we're going to do this. So I'm drawing this character from HELLDIVERS 2, the game. Yes, it's you know, your typical stormtrooper-esque hero kind of soldier guy, you know, who's fighting against all the monsters and the creatures, the robots, the monsters and aliens, which is brilliant, really. You know, at least that's what they got. You know, that's what they're trying to protect planet Earth from. I think it's very reminiscent of Starship Troopers, isn't it? It's that's what it's kind of, you know, got hints of. So yeah, it's very inking. So I'd already drawn some of these already, and the one you've just seen drawn now in pencil. So just to show you how I do it. And now on the light box, I'm going to ink them up, ready to go in the scene. I'm not entirely sure if this was the right way to do them all separately. It kind of worked though. It kind of pulled together. You know, all the I put the drawings on top of each other in layers in Photoshop. So, but if you haven't got a computer package to do artwork like that on, you could use tracing paper, I suppose, to do that. You know, and then move them into position and then draw and trace them on, or something like that. I don't know how you would do that, to be honest, but yes, it's just inking them all up now. I'm trying to get the details correct as well. And I do a lot of cross-hatching on these, and then I just completely obliterate the cross-hatching with what do you call it? black ink. So yeah, Yolig Briss, who I'll put on the screen, or I put on the screen earlier, I'll do it again now, has asked me to do this because they are a fan of the game, so they thought it'd be fun to see me draw it in my own style. Yeah, I struggle with these these kind of realistic drawings, although there's nothing realistic about it, is there really? It's not so cartoony as what I normally do. That's what I'm trying to get at. And I did give him that one there, specifically a pair of Judge Dredd knee protectors. And the one above him with the flag, I'm sorry to say, but I did give him a lawgiver. Spot the comics I used to love to read when I was a kid. Not that my mum and dad would let me read 2000 AD. They were too violent. 'Tis now. Yeah, I used to love those. You read them now. They were very funny. They were very good, very clever, very well written. I got many volumes of the Judge Dredd case files. I think 1 to 11. I haven't got any more so far. So my daughter used to buy them for me once a year. On our anniversary. So yeah, I did all this cross hatching and then went over it with a black pen later on, so I don't know whether I should have left it or not, but there we go. Thank you for watching and the lovely messages I got from the last video, the Black Cauldron, very kind comments and little conversations we had. It was lovely. I'm very grateful for that, thank you. And your likes and the new subscriber as well, so thanks ever so much. Very kind of you. Which I did say thank you to in a post earlier on this week. Yeah, I was quite happy with these little characters. I thought they were alright. But yeah, it worked out okay. I didn't do anything on the flag because I really didn't know what to put on the flag, and when it was in the drawing you didn't really see it that clearly anyway, so it didn't make much difference. Oh, has anybody seen any good movies recently? My kids went to see, well, I say kids, 24 and 19, and my wife. What did they go and see? I forgot what it was they went to watch now. I can't remember. I didn't go. I'm a bit disillusioned with today's cinema, to be honest. I'm kind of like, it's all the same stuff spewed out over and over again, isn't it? Yeah, so I watch older movies. I watched The Black Cauldron again the other week. Sorry. Yeah, that was good. Yeah, I like that. I haven't really watched any movies that good. Oh, I did Monster Hunter with Mila Jovovich in. It was based on a game. I've never heard of the game, but I think it's a Chinese movie or an Asian movie. Oh, it was good though. It was done in 2020. It was very, very good. Yeah, I like the monsters in that. It was very exciting as well. It was real fantasy stuff, you know. Ron Perlman was in it. Why, I don't know, but he was in it. But it was good. Oh, paper lift transition. Yeah. So, putting in the black now, so I kind of, I don't know why I did all that. I think I'm a bit scared, you see, of just going straight into the black, which I should do. I should just go straight for the silhouettes. But, yeah, but it looks alright. It looks okay. I like the characters though, I thought they turned out okay. I did, base them. I had to do some research on the uniforms, the uniform colours, the shape of the visor in the helmet. Oh, did I get that wrong a few times? Yeah, oh my goodness me. So I had to go back and fix that. The weapons and everything I just made up myself. This is the problem with doing these kind of drawings, because it's not straight out of my imagination. It's not like, my brain on a piece of paper. This is from something else.
which I'm recreating in my own style, I don't enjoy it as much for some reason, because it's I'm tied to what I have to do so that it looks somewhat like the source material. Whereas if it's coming from me, there is no source material, it's just straight out my brain. Well, that is the source material. But yes. So yeah, I always get a bit nervous because I don't want to let the person down who has asked me to draw this. And but I am very grateful for the interaction and for the requests. I think it's lovely. So any more, please let me know in the comments below what you would think. Oh, this might be alright, this might be a good idea to draw, something that you've liked from your childhood maybe, and you think, oh, I'd like to see that drawn by this idiot. What on earth? It's a big bumblebee. I think somebody's hoovering outside. I mean, cutting the grass. Yes, so we're going to do the background now, so penciling up the background. Now, I've got a confession to make. I already did this once, the background, and I did it in portrait, and it was rubbish. I don't know. I even inked it up, yeah. And then, no, I didn't like that, so I wanted to do it in landscape, so I can get more in it. There we go. Use a CD for your planet in the background. You didn't see that, right? You didn't see that. I didn't draw that freehand. Yeah, and I'm going to draw an already vanquished Helldiver who has been ousted from the game forcibly. Yeah. Yeah, I quite liked him actually, though. He turned out all right in the end. Now, one thing I did learn from last week's debacle of a drawing was that keep your colours simple. Don't overcomplicate things. Stick to just a few colours, not half a dozen and a million others. So I did learn from that. Now, the robots and the monsters I've drawn are vague similarities to what they're not vague, they are something like they are in the games, but I've simplified them a great deal so that I don't sit over them trying to get every detail right, because I ain't got the time, basically. Because this is not my job. I don't do this for a living because I haven't got enough subscribers to make any money from my videos. I need 1,000. So is anybody out there? Anybody out there? Yeah. Wants to subscribe, and watch me draw this garbage? I'd be very appreciative. But yeah, it's so I drew, my versions of the kind of aliens and the monsters and the robots that were attacking these poor Helldivers who are protecting planet Earth from invasion. From multiple... I think in the game you can either battle against robots, or you can battle against aliens, or you can battle against monsters. It's... and they drop you from the heavens in like a pod, It's very similar to Starship Troopers, which I loved when it came out. In was it the 2000? Or the 1990, late 90s? I can't remember when it came out, but I think it was the late 90s, wasn't it? Oh dear me, I thought that was great. But anyway, yeah. So I'm worried about the background again. I wanted to make it look somewhat like the posters that you see. On the internet of the game. So I tried to do something like it, and then tried to make it look, my own kind of thing. So I'm not going to sit there rigorously trying to copy and recreate, the exact images that I've seen online. I'll just, do a facsimile of it. And hopefully you'll like it. I really do hope you'll like it. So, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, Gioligbris, who plays the game, is going to show you millions of people who play the game on... What did he call it? I forgot what it was now. Anyway, on whatever platform that he communicates with, and to see what you think. Please, be kind. I tried my best. I tried my very best. But yeah, no, it was good fun. It was good fun, this one. I enjoyed it. Especially when I, did the background like this. It was much, much better than doing the portrait one. Because, of course, in the portrait, you can't fit as many creatures in and things, and antagonists. The only thing was that when I scanned in the characters, the actual Helldivers themselves, and I reduced them down on the drawing here, when they printed out, they were quite small, and the details had tightened up a lot, Not that that was a problem, but it worked out alright in the end. But yeah, it's putting all the crowds in the background now. Now, when you do that, if you have a go at doing crowds, just do a few at the front that roughly look like what you want to draw, kind of thing. And then just draw shapes that are reminiscent of the ones in the front and behind. And then just little circles of heads kind of thing behind that. You don't have to draw all these characters separately. You can cheat. Especially if you're drawing comic books or anything, because when people read comic books, they don't always look at the art straight away. They read the text first. Well, I do anyway. I went to a car boot sale recently and I bought for £7, I think it was, 2 volumes, and they're about this big. They're about that big. They're, like that. Books of Dan Dare. I've never had a book about Dan Dare. I've never read a book of Dan Dare, but I've always liked the artwork. I've always thought, oh, that's nice. And it was ever since I saw Michael Palin on Around the World in 80 Days, which I love. And I got your DVDs, matey, if you're watching. As if he'd watch this garbage. Anyway, he had a t-shirt on with Dan Dare's face on in his space suit, And I looked at that t-shirt and I thought, oh, I really would like that t-shirt. I love that t-shirt he bought. Anyway, I digress. So I've always appreciated the artwork, and then I found these books. She wanted £10 for them both, I said, I'll give you 7, and she went, all right. And this lady let me have them for £7. So I then went online on Vinted and had a look if there's any more, and I managed to buy a couple more for not that much more expensive either. So I got number 1, 2 and 3 volumes. I think there are more. But I absolutely adore the drawings. So yeah, Dan Dare, and they're really well written, brilliant stories, and the artwork is superb. I don't know why, but I just much prefer the European comic format and the British comics that were out in the, I think it's the 50s, 60s and 70s and 80s. I prefer the artwork to any of the American ones, I don't know why. Although saying that, King Kirby was an absolute master of his skills. Kirby was absolutely brilliant, absolutely fantastic. I got to admit he was. And Will Eisner, well, what can I say? I think he was the ultimate cartoonist. I really do. I think he was the best one, and he was from New York, wasn't he? So Will Eisner was the guy for me, I'm afraid. Yeah, Frank Miller was good too. Well, he's good. But anyway, I do like the Dan Dare stuff. They're beautifully drawn. Wonderful, wonderful comics. So yeah, I'm putting some detail in now, trying to make that rock look rounded, like that, because in the last drawing I did, it looked flat, and it was rubbish. So trying to make that look rounded, as if, I'm now going to have one of the characters standing on top of that, rubbing out the pencil.
Hello, computer.
Hello, computer. It's time for computer. Hello, computer. Yes, it's computer time, if you hadn't noticed. Now, I apologise for the way that I've positioned that right behind the green block. Like an idiot. But yeah, here's me resizing them. I'll put the other character in a minute. But I want to cut out this foreground before I do that, so that they can drop slightly behind it, you know, and give you the sense of distance. There he goes. There he comes. There he comes. Here he comes. And cut his bottom half off, so I didn't have to. It doesn't matter, does it? Give him a bit of a shadow. Please forgive the noise outside. It's somebody cutting their grass. I do it at the most inopportune times. Yeah. Colour now. Already? Colour already? That was quick. That was very, very quick. Now then, I am giving this the characters a base coat of grey, which is a tonal colour, not a warm or a cold, but just a tonal colour. Colouring those in, and then I will go over those with a pale blue, I think it is. Yes, a pale blue, which will give me this bluey grey colour. I'll put on yellow accents first, which will give me this bluey yellow colour, which is, this bluey grey colour, which is the colour of the Helldivers. There we go. That didn't work. That wasn't the right colour. There we go. And that's the colour I'm going to do. Now I've got to do something totally different for the background and for the foreground, so I'm going to use lilac, purpley colours, just so that it contrasts with the grey and the blue of the Helldivers themselves. So they reduced down quite small to fit them on there, so I did put the bits of red in there so that your eye is drawn straight to them. Although I know in the pictures their visors are blue. So instead of using blue in the background as shade, I used, because that would clash with them, I used purple. All sorts of different variations of purple. I'm not sure, I think that's Prussian blue in the background, which is quite a purpley blue anyway. Well, it is out of this pen for some reason. But yes. So adding some shade now. Yeah, I did everything in that colour, just one big wash of this colour. And it worked, it kind of worked. It's because you simplified the colours and it's easier for the eye to read straight away. Separate it from the main characters so they're totally different colours. I did this a dark purple. This downed Helldiver, but I do go in with that with some grey later on, just to because he's very bright there. It's a very bright purple, so more of a pinky purple now. Just adding to it just to make it a bit more colourful at the front. I'm actually using it as like a shade, to be honest, a shader. There we go. Getting everything to stand out. Yeah, using a darker purple now for the shadows. Yeah, it came out alright. It's just, I'm learning all the time, because I learned from last week's, fiasco of a drawing. Should have kept it just the green mist around the back, and it was alright in the end, but it wasn't what I wanted. It wasn't what I initially had the idea of. I should have just stuck to the green and not put the blue in. Just use the green as the shade, a darker green. So you live and learn. And a lot of you have, said, oh yeah, I think you should have done that. Some of you have said, yeah, you should have just left it green, and I think you're absolutely right. Yeah, so we're all learning. And if you can't learn, if you're too proud to admit, your mistakes, I don't know. You gotta be humble enough, ain't you, to admit that you've messed it up. Yeah. There you go. Putting some blue in now for the sky. Now I struggled with what to do for this sky, but I went with this light blue instead. And you'll see what I do to that on the computer later. But I came up, there you go, put a bit of darker in now just to make the corners draw in a bit. That was a thing from Bob Ross, the corners, you know, make your eye, direct your eye into the corner. Putting a different kind of blue on the blue. And then going around everything with the Posca. Now this really worked for this drawing. For me it did. I don't know, you might not think so. You can tell me if you don't think it's right, you know, it's up to you. But for me it works. The white surround around the, you know, I don't know. Just pulls them out a little bit, makes them stand off the page a bit. This is a 0.7 Posca pen, white Posca. The other one, the next one up is a 0.7, but it's a different nib. This one's like a ball bearing nib, which is very good to do finer work with. I really like. Yeah, so I'm going around and it does pop them off the page, I think. It separates them a little bit. Give them some highlights. And the downed Helldiver. Put some highlights on. Little buildings in the background just to denote that they could have been buildings at one time. They're all collapsed. Don't know whether I should have done that. I don't know if that's game accurate, I'm not sure. I have played the game once. But I used to game a lot, but I do enjoy my drawings. It's hard to fit it all in, isn't it? So yeah, I'm going to go around here now to hide, you know, to go around the edge of the planet and make it look misty. And again, I went back to my charcoal white pencil. I got to admit, I like this stuff. I like these pencils. They're from AliExpress. They were only a couple of pence, you know, they weren't a lot. But you can get a nice effect of misty, you know, putting mist in the background behind the mountains, giving you a sense of distance. And you rub it with your finger and it fades a little bit. Yeah, a bit more. So it pushes everything behind, you see. I quite like that effect. Now I'm putting a bit of mist between the mountains and the characters in the background, so to give you a sense of distance. And then I'm just going over the characters once more with a little bit of black, just to redefine some of the, you know, because I've rubbed over it with my hand, with the charcoal pencil, and just to redefine some of them, which worked. That was all right. Quite fiddly, mine, because they're very, very small. There we go. Go over that one with the grey to drop him back, so he doesn't stand out quite so much now. Re-adding the light sources, little reflections of him. Yeah, I thought, yeah.
Hello, computer.
Computer, back to the computer. So we're on the computer now, and now what I wanted to do was to get the smudge tool and smudge the entire background, because you see all the lines that the pen leaves in big areas. It leaves lines. I was a bit like, so I went all over that with the smudge tool, which was on about 30% smudging. You know, like, yeah. And it blended all the background a little bit more. Putting some light sources in now, just to give these a bit more of a menacing look. I didn't know what colour to do their eyes, so I just did them red, and I did these ones blue, I think. Give some flames coming out their weapons, and then put in the text. Helldivers 2. This time, it's war. It was out of aliens, wasn't it? Yeah, giving it a bit of a badge. Make it look, you know, something like the game. And that's basically it, really. Thank you ever so much, everybody, for subscribing. We're up to 323 so far. I'm very grateful for you. Please subscribe, leave a like, and share the video if you like with your friends. And thank you for visiting. Very, very grateful. and I will see you next time. Oh, yes, I will. Yes, indeedy. I finished there a little bit too early, and I'm really sorry. I'm a bit embarrassed now because I have to waffle on to try and fit it in. And I'm waiting for it to finish, so I hope you like the video. Thank you. I will see you next time. Ta-ra, everybody! Bye!
What? No, I'm not saying anything. No, I'm not saying anything. I am not being allocated to the end of the videos. I should be in the middle. Honestly, it's not funny, all this. I'm just left to the end and I haven't got anything to say. You treat me like muck, you do. Treat me like muck. Ridiculous. Anyway, it was alright video and, it's okay. It wasn't, it's alright. Sniff this, baby.